Hello and welcome to another episode of Bible FPL, a review of the first game week of the season, a look ahead to game week two. As we did last week, we're going to have a brief look at my sort of main team, if you like, which isn't influenced by Bible related names or authors. And then we're going to focus in on how the Bible FIFA team, Bible FIFA, Bible FPL team has got on. Spoiler alert, the Bible team has done better than the team that I've spent weeks planning, which is good because I wanted this team to surprise us like it did in the Women's Euros, with names that have to be inspired by sort of Bible books or authors. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, the concept of this series, go back to episode one to hear a bit more about how it works. Just initially, then, let's have a quick review of how my sort of main team did, if you like, and I'll be quick with this one. Forest defenders let us down. But hopefully are still going to get some clean sheets in the coming weeks. They were unlucky to concede the penalty, and they are a solid defensive unit. Cucurella and Ait Nouri essentially have saved the game week with their 9 pointers. Ait Nouri getting a defensive contribution was quite unexpected, but he ended up playing quite a defensive role. He was a bit of a compromise for not getting Reijnders, who also looked great. With Reijnders, if some of you are thinking about him, I wouldn't panic about him. They have got a slightly difficult fixture run coming up, with the likes of Brighton, Spurs, United, and then Arsenal away. Game week six onwards, their fixture's looking really good. So I think he's one of those. If you want to make the transfer, he's a great player to bring in before his price goes up. But if you wanted to wait, I think with FPL, I'm learning more and more. Don't panic. You know, if you've got a team that looks good for this week, you're probably okay. If you've got a player that's maybe not didn't play last week, was benched or something, or was injured, that's where I think you've got even more of a license to bring him in. But if your heart's like, I just want him, go and get the guy. He's going to be good this season, I think. Even if he doesn't start every game, he's going to start probably a lot of them at least in the coming weeks. Midfielder was disappointing. Vert's captaincy failed a little bit. All of these guys failed, other than Adingra, to be fair. I stuck to my guns with Adingra. He got the assist. I'm happy with that. He's got a nice fixture run for the next few weeks, so hopefully he can get a bit more for us. And then up top, it was a real shambles, with the lack of attacking return, should we say. Thankfully, I benched Constable, although for 3 points, he did better than Milenkovic. So it is what it is. In terms of the team for this game week, I'm going to be rolling the transfer. I'm going to try and be more disciplined this year. Dubravka's going to come in for sales to give us a nice fixture at home to Sunderland, but we will still have a Forest defender away to Palace. I just think Palace will probably score, but Forest are good defensively. They might keep it cleaner. Milenkovic has great attacking threat. I'm hoping for attacking returns from Ait Nouri this time if he plays further forward, as Spurs may have a goal in them. Cucurella against West Ham is a nice fixture. This is all really nice. I think Vert's away to Newcastle is a bit difficult, but these guys have lovely fixtures. Saka's going to be captaincy, so I think in the title I've probably put something like triple captain Saka question mark, or triple captain alert, or whatever. The reason being, I was planning to triple captain Saka this week, and I'm still. There's a chance I do. I think the United games put me off a bit. I'm happy to have captain Saka. I'm happy to have vice captain Gyökeres. But I was really tempted to triple captain Saka for this game week. I think if Arsenal play better against United, I've been all over it. Maybe put in the comments if you can be bothered. Do you think triple captain Saka punt's worth it? It's early in the season. The players going to be more fresh. It's a lovely fixture. But maybe I need to wait until a form player has a nice fixture for triple captaincy. So yeah, we'll wait and see on that one. But I may steer away from it after I was very set on it last week. And then the front line is looking nice. I think Bowen has a goal in him in any fixture, and at home to Chelsea is definitely good enough. And then there's Joshua King. He's been playing minutes. So against United, it's not a bad fixture if he needs to come off the bench. Esteve against Sunderland's a nice fixture if he needs to come off the bench. And Sells, if he needs to come off the bench, is a solid keeper for us. So I think the team's in good shape. I'm not going to panic at all. I think we're gonna roll the transfer and go into next week. I think if with your teams, if you can roll the transfer this week, definitely roll it. With the being able to roll up to 5 transfers this season, it's a powerful thing. If you can store some up to almost do a mini wild card. And there's a lot of nice fixtures coming up. United at home to Burnley next week, which is arguably the best captaincy opportunity. So if you can have a transfer in the locker for that, or two, you might want to use one. I think at least one next week. You want to probably captain a United player, whether that be Bruno, whether Cunha or Burmo are looking good for a high ceiling option. I think there's some sort of brief tips for you in terms of rolling the transfers and looking ahead to maybe that game week three fixture for captaincy. Obviously, this week you might want an Arsenal player for captaincy like me against Leeds, because I wouldn't love captaining a Liverpool player away to Newcastle who looked quite solid against Villa. I mean, I think Haaland looks nice against Spurs, but I wouldn't rip your team up for him. So if you're feeling an Arsenal player, you could bring one in for captaincy there. I don't hate that at all. It's just, I think if you've got a player that looks good enough for captaincy, rolling the transfer is always nice because with this Arsenal player, you could bring them in this week, but then their fixture run stinks until I think it's after that game week there, where it actually starts to get a lot better. And that's when you really want to be piling in the Arsenal guys. So, yeah, there's some brief advice on players and thoughts around them for now. In terms of the Bible team, so it's gone all right. 50, I mean, 51 points isn't amazing. However, I'm recording this today because I've got some time to do it, and we've got a Bible option for the passage. But we've got a couple of Everton players tonight, Tarkowski and Dewsbury Hall. I mean, on a good day, those guys could both return. So we're hoping to get a good score on the Bible team. The Haaland captaincy was beautiful. That's paid off brilliantly. He's going to inspire the Bible passage. We've got a couple of clean sheets at the back here with a Cucurella bonus. And like I said, we've got two more players playing tonight. Caicedo with the defensive contributions, he's going to be a stable pick all season. It's going to be half tempting to start him some weeks if he's going to be coming in with 5 pointers. And actually, next game week, while we're talking about that, there's a consideration we bring him in potentially for the likes of Frimpong because he picked up a slight hamstring sort of tightness thing. So if there's any doubt about Frimpong, I might just play Caicedo and try and get another defensive contribution. But actually, in the starting 11 this week, I think it'll be the same again with captaincy Haaland, vice Bowen. The team's looking pretty strong overall, I'd say, for the game week. And like I said, I'll wait to see if I bring in Caicedo based on the Frimpong news. So that's how the team is sort of heading into to game week 2 for the Bible FPL side of things. In terms of the preach, so City won 4-0. When I say preach, short talk. This series is all about let's try and do well in FPL, but also let's put together a team of players whose names correlate with books and authors in the Bible. And when they score or assist, I can then read from a passage in relation to that player's name and goal time. So Erling Haaland is our slight clutch at straws for our Book of Hebrews representative. H for Haaland, H for Hebrews. He's got Erling and Brout in his first names, HEB, Hebrews. It works well enough. And he scored in the 34th and also 61st minute. And we're going to go with the 34 option, and we're going to go through Hebrews chapter 3, verse 4, which says this, just to bring a bit more meaning to some of these videos and some sort of food for thought from the Christian perspective. So it says, for every house is built by someone, but God is the builder of everything. That's a bit of a mic drop verse, that. For every house is built by someone. However, God is the builder of everything. And I think it's a good bit of food to thought if you're, let's say, I assume a lot of you watching these videos probably aren't Christians. But even just like statistically speaking, the majority of people in the world aren't Christians. There's a lot of Christians in the world, but the majority of people aren't. If you're not a Christian watching this, I think at the very least you need to consider and at least spend some decent time looking into it. Like, if God is real, you know, ultimately He is the one that made me and made every single person in this world to have the ability and the capability to build things, to do life. Like, yeah, granted, lots of people in the world do lots of things and amazing things, and they build lots of tall buildings and they do lots of wonderful careers and they do lots of incredible things. There's lots of powerful people in the world. But none of that is even remotely possible if there isn't a bigger builder there in the first place in God who made a world that made all of this to be possible, that allowed humans to exist and allow them to function in a way where every single aspect of this world, when it comes to sort of the science behind things, the chemical percentages in terms of like like even just like the percentage of oxygen compared to the percentage of nitrogen, and my chemistry isn't very good. Carbon dioxide, the distance that like the sun and the moon are to the Earth, and the way that gravity is just perfectly balanced to make us, stand on Earth without flying off into the atmosphere. And there are so many perfectly precise measures that have to be absolutely on the money. Otherwise, life as we know it couldn't exist. Humans couldn't live or function in this world. We would all just die. Um, I read once, so the odds of this world being created as we know it without a god, right? There's more chance of someone winning the lottery like a million times in a row and getting struck by lightning every single time they win it than the world as we know it being created without a god. And for me, it's just a lot easier to believe, surely there's a God behind this. Like, you even just have to watch a beautiful sunset go down, late one night, and just like I said, some of those percentages and likelihoods of the world being created without a God, it's just so remote that you're like, surely there's a creator behind this. And then you get on to morals and why do we have feelings and values and why do we care if an innocent person gets killed? Like, surely if we were just robots sprouted out of the ground, we wouldn't, we wouldn't care about anything. We just want to survive. Like a lot of the animal kingdom, where it's just like eat what you find, survive, live, hoard, do what you want to do. But no, we have compassion. We have compassion inbuilt into us. In our DNAs, we have love and compassion and care for people. We want to help people. Like, where does that come from if there's no God? So there's so many, aspects of why God could be real. I've gone off on a massive tangent there, but maybe God's inspired this tangent just for a bit more food for thought. Where, at the very least, you've got to look into if God is behind all of this, there is a reason for my existence. I'm not just a meaningless person who sprouted up. And therefore, I can be grateful to God for every good thing. I can ask Him for help in life where things are difficult. I have a deeper meaning to life where He's actually made me of a purpose. And in future videos, I'll probably come on to some of those, different reasons for why, with, in order to make this video not too long. But I just want to encourage you, yeah, if you're not a Christian listening to this, at least look into the Christian faith. There's things like an alpha course you can do to look into actually how plausible the Christian faith really is, and how, Jesus historically was a real person, and how there's a lot of weight behind what he claimed to do, and how if he rose from the dead and truly was the Son of God, well, that changes everything. It proves that God's real. I've been to events where many people have been healed, and there's a lot of evidence for the existence of God, and yeah, at the very least, you need to look into it because if God is real and He's created you, you need to know about your Creator and how much He loves you and wants to help you in life and is with you and wants to give you purpose and wants to give you a guaranteed of eternity beyond this life without suffering if you put your faith in Jesus. And if there isn't a God, then crack on, like do whatever you want and forget about it. But yeah, you need to at least look into it. And for me, I found God to be real, and it's changed everything in my life. It's given me meaning and purpose, and it actually helps me with FPL. Like when FPL goes wrong, I mean, even in my week this week, like it's not gone great. Like 43 points is poor, and it helps to just give me some perspective sometimes and thinking, yeah, it's not all about fantasy football. I think if it wasn't for my faith in God, things like fantasy football all of a sudden become a lot bigger. It becomes my only focus in life when it comes, well, not only focus in life. Obviously, I've got work, I've got family, I've got lots of things I love. But when it comes to a hobby, like this is a big hobby for me, and I think it would take over to a point where I do get down with FPL sometimes, but I think I'd be even more down and depressed when FPL goes bad if there was no God and no faith in God. But with God, it's like, okay, there's bigger things in life. I know FPL is just a little bit, trivial. It's a bit meaningless. I can enjoy it for what it is, but when weeks don't go as well as this, it's like it's not that big a deal. It's not that deep. And actually, a bit of a sort of mental health tip for you as well. Like, I had a really good chat with a mate the other day around just trusting your decision making process. Like, you can't control the outcomes of who does well in FPL, but if you've got a team, you look at and you go, no, there's a reason I picked all those players, and there was logic behind all of them. Trust the process. In other weeks, they're going to do better. You can't predict the future. You can't guarantee who's going to do well each week. And just, I guess my encouragement would be enjoy the returns when they come in. Like, enjoy the fact that Nuri got me a 9 and Kikare got me a 9 and, Adingra got me an assist. Like, let's enjoy the returns. And those that didn't return, it's like, fair enough. They'll return on other weeks. And I'll have booming weeks that are amazing and other weeks that are just like, okay, that wasn't the greatest week. But FPL is a marathon, not a sprint. And then, yeah, if you've had poor game weeks like me to start off the season with, you've got 37 more to have some better ones and to end more strongly. And like I said, with God, there's more meaningful things to life, and there's deeper meaning, and yeah, you can find peace and contentment in life, in the ups and the downs of it. Not always easy, but with God, it honestly makes things 10 times better. So I encourage you, yeah, if you're not a Christian, look into it more, and if you are a Christian, keep looking to God, keep spending time with Him, keep enjoying Him. And it helps you to put things like FPL in even more perspective when you do. I'll leave this video there for now before it is far too long. But yeah, I hope you found the Bible stuff encouraging and the Christian stuff encouraging, or at least interesting. Do comment if you have any questions. I'd love to get back to you. Do like and subscribe if you're tuning into this and you'd want to tune in for more to just hear a bit of a taste of, yeah, a bit of both, a bit of FPL, a bit of Christian content put in with it. But yeah, for now, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for all the support on the channel. It's really appreciated. I hope this encourages more and more people over time. Something slightly different. And for now, yeah, I look forward to catching you all on the next one.